Man, this movie could really steal my imagination.
I would make a pun about Last Son of Krypton, but you make a pun about Krypton.
Welcome back to the Cinefanatics. My name's Robert Adams.
I'm Chris Adams.
And we've got a spoiler-free review for Superman, James Gunn's 2025
film about Superman.
This is the film that is leading the charge in the new DCU, the DC Studios as they are now. And we got some thoughts on this. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. While you're down there, make sure you like and subscribe. And also, keep the comments civil. If you're too stupid, I'm going to delete it. Go ahead and test me if you would like. It's going to be gone. Don't bother wasting your time. Moving on to the actual review, though. It's a good movie.
Guys, it's a good movie.
It's a really good movie. I do have some negatives, so if you're wanting to hear negatives, stick around.
Yeah, that will come. First things first. I think you got to start right off the top. David Corenswet as Superman. Yes or no?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. No, that... I said it in our out-of-theater reaction. I've been saying it on Twitter ever since getting out of the theater. That is my Superman. That is the Superman I've been waiting for. If I've been waiting for a Superman. I'm not like the biggest Superman nerd. Because I know that there's people out there who are much, much more nerdier for Superman, and that's perfectly fine. Go for it. But if I know anything about Superman, I know that the performance that David Corenswet put on is Superman.
Yeah.
To a T. And I think that is, I'm saying that right off the top because I think that's going to be one of the first things a lot of you are looking for. How is he as the guy in the cape, the blue Boy Scout? How is he?
How is the guy?
How is the guy? He is fantastic.
He's good. No, that's another movie.
He's gosh darn great.
Ooh, watch the potty mouth.
Exactly.
Yeah. David Corenswet does a phenomenal job. There's a little bit to his characterization, and I feel this is also going to be talking about the overall story of the movie as a whole, but there is something definitely cartoonish to his character, but that's the how the movie is, and we'll talk about more
personality.
We'll talk about that side here in a minute. But yes, I think he does a phenomenal job. Is he the best Superman? I don't know yet. I probably need to watch this again, let it ruminate a bit before I really want to say it. But I mean, it's kind of hard to top Christopher Reeve. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest.
This is where I'm at, and this is where a lot of you can kind of figure out our opinions about this movie based on our thoughts and feelings about what has come before. I like Christopher Reeve. He's fine. Perfectly fine as Superman. Did a great job. I liked Henry Cavill as Superman. I thought Man of Steel was a good movie. I really like David Corenswet as Superman. Yeah. I really like David Corenswet. Brandon Routh did a good job in that movie that I don't remember much from.
Yeah, I mean, I'll even go so far as even Tom Welling. I think
Tom Welling did
while
a fine
he
job.
didn't necessarily portray Superman,
yeah,
he was Superman that whole time. That was the embodiment of what Superman is, with the dichotomy of Clark and Superman. That
to put the exclamation on all of that for me, David Corenswet is Superman.
And then also, real quick, the rest of the cast.
Yeah.
Everybody nails their part. Rachel Brosnahan, fantastic.
Great Lois.
I will probably say, in my opinion, other than Erica Durance in Smallville, I think that Rachel Brosnahan was probably my favorite Lois since Margot Kidder.
Yeah, Margot Kidder, Erica Durance, and Rachel Brosnahan. Top three. Top three Loises right there.
And not including animated. I mean, we could be sitting here diving, not including this, but including this one. We could do that all day, but yes. And then let's talk about Lex. Lex is so much fun.
Guys, we finally have a fantastic live-action Lex Luthor. And I'm saying that knowing full well that people really have their hearts on Gene Hackman back in the day. He who shall not be named in Superman Returns. And honestly, Michael Rosenbaum, I thought Smallville, fantastic Lex. Nicholas Hoult, right there up there with him.
If this Nicholas Hoult Lex did not exist, I would be very happy with knowing that Michael Rosenbaum's performance as Lex Luthor exists. Now that we actually have the actual Lex, this isn't still like Michael Rosenbaum's Lex was trying to figure out his place in the world and how he was going to run his father's company, yada, 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 just like Clark was learning how to be Superman. This is a full-fledged Lex Luthor, and he's not the Gene Hackman goofy guy.
He's not goofy. He's not eccentric like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex. He is, I would say, relatively level-headed. He knows what he's going after. He knows what he wants to do. He knows what he wants to do. And he's already like boots on the ground, able to do what he wants to set out and accomplish.
Yeah. So he does a phenomenal job. Just those three alone, those are the top three best of the. Everyone else, like Edie Gathegi, I was not really like originally when I heard he was cast as Mr. Terrific, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Well, because I was really only familiar with his character of Darwin from X-Men First Class, and I was like, I can't see him playing Mr. Terrific. Nope, nails it.
He was a scene stealer. Yeah. He was absolutely a scene stealer. I loved every second he was on screen because he was just stealing scenes.
Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. That was Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
He portrayed that smarmy asshole perfectly. Then you've got Hot Girl.
Isabella Merced.
Yes, sorry.
I got there.
She doesn't have very much. I don't think we don't see too much from her. She has a couple of good lines that really accentuate her personality. I want to see more.
There's a lot of room to grow for her character, for sure.
And I want to see that. Like, I don't necessarily care about the secondary characters like this, but she did a phenomenal job. I want to see more from her.
Yeah.
And then Anthony Carrigan, Metamorpho.
Yeah.
That was good.
Fantastic character. Awesome job, costume, makeup.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome design on him. They nailed the look of Metamorpho, like straight out of the comics, ripped right out of the comic books.
He's got one really important scene in this, and just him acting through that makeup is so good.
Yeah.
And just is there anyone like the rest of
the folks from the Daily Planet?
Yeah,
Jimmy.
Perry White was good. We got Cat Grant was great. Steve Lombard was the best casting for Steve Lombard.
Yeah.
That was
Beck.
Beck Bennett from SNL. Like, that was great. He didn't have much to do, but man, he made the most of what he had. And then was it Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy? Just so good.
They did some fun stuff with Jimmy. I'm like, oh man, you're doing this strictly because people have this idea of how Jimmy Olsen is, and they just want to flip it on their head, and it's just so much fun.
Yeah, they definitely they'll subvert expectations with Jimmy, but it works and it's good. I liked it.
Yeah.
You got like some other characters, like you got Eve Tessmacher, who's on Luthor's side. She's all right. She's no Valerie Perrine.
I will say, and this is going to be a good transition. We'll say real quick. You have Ultraman
and the Engineer,
which was great. Ultraman was exactly what Ultraman needed to be.
Yep.
And then Engineer, which I think is a good transition into another piece here. Engineer was probably the weakest link for me in terms of stuff like CGI and like characterization, perfectly fine, but how she came across in terms of the line delivery, the dialogue that she had, probably the weakest part of the entire movie for me was the Engineer.
Yeah. I'm going to add to it in that part of what you're talking about is actually the main issue I had with this movie. Yeah. At least the first half of this movie, it was all exposition. Every single character that's on that screen is saying something to the audience to let them know where we're at, what's going on, why is something happening, and it's not the way you would talk. Like, if I get up in the morning like, I just woke up out of bed. Well, obviously you're up and you're talking to me. I had breakfast. Well, you see me put the cereal bowl down. Like, it's really weird disconnecting stuff in there.
There was a lot of, like, Lex will say a line and Engineer will be like, I know this, Lex. I've done this and this to be dedicated in this way. And it's like, that felt really forced right there. So there's a few lines here and there when we're talking about like the plot and how to move things forward. There's a few lines that feel really forced at times.
Yeah, and that's really probably my only main negative. Story-wise, it's a good story.
Yeah.
I like how if you've only watched the trailers and then see like how all those trailer shots combine to what we actually get in the movie, it's kind of funny seeing how it all, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
And like even this movie opens with a very popular trailer shot. And my first thought was like, yeah, I've already seen the trailer.
Yeah.
So, like, I love it. This movie actually opens with a lot of reading, but then you get the trailer shot. The reading's not too bad, but
no, it's great.
I like how
it's a Star Wars crawl.
Yeah, basically, it catches us up to exactly where your mindset should be for this. I just know CinemaSins would be like, reading, ding. But the storyline was good. It does enough to establish like your hero, your villain, everything that we need to know to be introduced to this new DC world.
And it just throws you into the world too, by the way. Everything that exists already in the comic books, it exists in this world already. Good comparison. People like to do the DC versus Marvel stuff. Marvel took it from the vantage point of, okay, we're going to introduce you with like one of the more grounded characters in Iron Man, and then we're going to naturally just spring off of that and evolve the rest of the MCU.
With the Nick Fury cameo.
Yeah, from that, and then just every movie following. The DCU says, hey, here's our main guy. He's already existed in this world, and this world's already used to metahumans and super people. Have fun.
Yeah. The overall like look of it, James Gunn knows what he's doing. He has a great eye for comic books. There's a reason why all three of his Guardians movies have done phenomenally.
Yeah.
His Suicide Squad was good. I enjoyed it. And he just brings that animated type of realism to this movie. Mm-hmm. In so much as you start watching this movie, and I was feeling it, and I've heard plenty of other people outside of the theater, this movie feels like it should be a part of the world of the Batman, Superman, Justice League animated series. This feels like it's a part of like the 90s cartoons, Justice League Unlimited. Yeah. If you were a fan of those, you're going to like this movie.
Yeah, and that's because this world is not ashamed. This movie is not ashamed of the fact that it comes from comic book origins. And I think that's one of the big things that James Gunn as a director really highlights very well, is that this movie is a comic book movie. It has got a lot of comic book energy. And that is kind of what we've really, in a way, been missing from Superman projects. You get maybe a little touch of it, a little tinge of it back with Christopher Reeve. We're going to be touching with like some of like the more 60s era Superman. But now we've had like decades of stories, not only in Superman, but a bunch of superheroes across all different companies have done so much in terms of comic book stories that now we're like, okay, what is Superman going to bring to the table? Because it's very easy for Superman to kind of get lost in the shuffle. All right, he's like the guy, he's got all the powers. Okay, he's an overpowered guy. How do we make this work in a movie? And I think they've really finally hit the note of how to do that. They really do not pull punches when it comes to, say, like the action of the movie. That's one of my favorite aspects of the movie, is when it comes to Superman and the Superman level action. They don't pull those punches. It really feels like a comic book level. This is an overpowered guy, and we're still giving him enough to fight against that. You're like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen with this guy. At any moment, he could be in a fight where he's going to get knocked on his butt, and I have no idea what's going to happen next. And I think that is something, on the comic book side of things, that's something that we've really been missing from Superman movies that now we have.
Yeah. You were saying, like, this movie's not afraid to be a comic book. It's like, this movie's not afraid to show sunlight.
Yeah.
This movie's very saturated. It's very color-heavy, which is great, because, again, this is playing off a comic book. I know the internet's going to compare to Man of Steel. You really can't compare this to Man of Steel. That's a whole different view. Mm-hmm. And while Man of Steel, the story it told was really good for that story, this is completely different. It's really like trying to compare just two different dogs. You're going to have two different families with two different dogs, and they both love their dog as it is. Just one of them's Krypto.
One of them's Krypto. The other one is Bruce Wayne's dog.
Ace.
Yep.
Ace the Bat Hound. Yeah. So go watch that Super Pets cartoon. That's basically, yeah.
Speaking of Krypto, people want to know, Krypto was like all over the marketing, right?
Yeah.
So how heavily featured is Krypto in the movie?
Heavily.
He is heavily featured, but it works.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun.
It somehow, some way. That's maybe one of the things I would have been apprehensive about initially too. Is like, all right, okay, it's a Superman movie. I'm more interested in Superman than I am the like C tier level over on the side. Okay, at some point we introduced a dog into the Superman storyline for the fun of it because people like dogs. How you're interested in that into the movie too? Yeah, but it works. It actually does work.
More interested in the furry plaything than Superman.
Yeah, but Krypto actually has stuff to do, and it actually makes sense for Krypto to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is one of like the huge things that made me go, you know what? I think James Gunn actually knows what he's doing with this movie. I had a big smile on my face the entire way through. And I think part of it obviously is Krypto. Like, Krypto is a fun little fluffy dog. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But part of it also is that there are many, many moments throughout the movie where Superman was, how the kids say, aura farming.
Yeah.
I'm never going to use that term again. Where Superman is just, he's center frame, just being Superman.
Yeah, just existing.
Take an image of Superman, like this glorious image of Superman from the comics, and put it on the movie screen. And that is what's happening. And when that happens, whenever Superman is just being Superman, just center frame being Superman, I was like, yes. Yeah. All of the yes. Big ol' yes.
Yeah. The other couple of things I wanted to touch upon were like some of the technical aspects. The way this movie was filmed.
Yeah.
It's very, very quick camera movements. It's almost quick camera movements, but not quite to the level of Edgar Wright type of camera. These are slow and flowing.
Edgar Wright is a little more static from here over to here.
Yeah.
Whereas this movie was like, the camera's like following around. It's going around an object.
It's almost like Mr. Terrific's T-spheres. It's almost like the camera is a T-sphere flowing around, like just the way it zooms in and then pans out, getting close to an object and then may pan away, or it looks really dynamic like that. And it's a good way of getting your audience into the action, feeling it, that you're there with these heroes. I liked it. I thought it was great.
You as the audience in the camera is moving like one of the heroes would in that scene.
Yeah, if there's a way of watching this, what's is it D-box or whatever?
Yeah, where the seat moves with you or something?
Yeah, take a barf bag if you're going to watch it with one of those, but yeah, you're going to get motion sickness.
Yeah.
Take a Dramamine before, or something like that. The other one is the music.
It's James Gunn.
The music hits so hard, especially because you've got that John Williams theme incorporated in there, and it's the same the way you hear it in the trailers, and it's so good and powerful. I love how it's just there, like in scenes, kind of like we were talking about, those scenes where we see Superman existing, and then you've got that guitar and that Superman theme with like the nod to John Williams. Just perfect. It is perfection on the screen.
Yeah, there are subtle nods in a couple places here and there throughout the movie that do harken back to the Christopher Reeve era Superman movies, and they are pitch perfect. They are exactly what you would want nod wise to that. And I think that's part of it is definitely the theme. In terms of music though, it's James Gunn, and there's definitely James Gunn's flavor of knowing how to find just the right song at the right time. Not as heavy-handed as, say, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy really was, like, the music was just another character in that movie. This one, it's more reserved, but there are times where a track from outside world, from our world, not from comic book or from the John Williams sphere, sometimes a track will come in and it's like, you know what? I don't know if I was expecting, just like, say like punk rock music or something like that. Yeah. I don't know if I was expecting that to actually make a splash on Superman, but again, it works. It just feels right, and that's because James Gunn is a master at knowing how to utilize music correctly in these movies.
Yeah. I'm I mean, I don't know what else there's. I mean, we could sit here and just pick apart all this stuff. Ma, Pa, Kent, fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out who else I can talk about. There is a mid-credits and a post-credits scene. They're fun. Stick around for them.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's so much other stuff about this movie I want to talk about, but spoilers.
Yeah.
Otherwise, yeah, if you've seen the trailer for this and you're like, it looks like it might be good, you're gonna enjoy it. You're gonna enjoy this movie. Again, I feel like the biggest negative was all of the exposition talk, at least in the first half.
A little heavy-handed at times.
Get past that, you're gonna have a great time with this movie. As long as you're capable of understanding, it's just a movie. Enjoy it.
It is.
Allow some happiness in your life.
It is definitely one that is very forward on its comic book nature. It is very sci-fi heavy at times. It does ask you to go, whoa, we're diving way deep into a very science fiction world here with this.
Oh yeah.
And if you can get into that, you're gonna have a blast with this movie. It is something that we just have never seen before in a Superman movie, and I am excited to see the future of the DCU off the back of this movie.
Yeah. Very well done.
Very recommended movie. You should go see it.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to be our review for this. Again, what did you think of it? Let us know down below in the comments. While you're down there, hit like and subscribe. You can follow us, please, on social media. We are at The Cinefanatics on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. You can follow me personally at RCA Reacts on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Letterboxd, also youtube.com/@RCA Reacts.
You can follow me at Chris Adams MLP on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd.
That's going to do it for this video. Thank you for watching. Again, we appreciate each and every single one of your views. Help grow this channel. Spread the word. Share this video. If you got people that are like, I don't know if I want to watch that Superman. Here, watch these guys. They liked it. Enjoy. Do whatever you can. Help spread the word of the Cinefanatics, and we'll see you on the next video.
And yes, I still do believe a man can fly.